Oi oi, how's it going guys? Hope all is well. So welcome back to the channel and welcome to a bit of a different video today. It's going to be split into two clips, with the first clip being a huge thank you to every single person that entered the competition. As of today at 7 o'clock UK time on the 6th of September 2023, so basically the time this video was released, the competition is now officially closed, which means all comments on the original video will be disabled. And no other guesses will be accepted from myself. And I have the luxury of scanning through those hundreds and hundreds of comments and populating them all into an Excel spreadsheet, which will take time. So to that end, please give me a few days to at least get them into that spreadsheet, and then I will do a video declaring the winner, in which I will showcase a clip which I took of me counting the coins straight after the original clip of the competition, if that makes sense, and then it will move on to the Excel spreadsheet, and where I'll numerically organize the guesses and pick out the winner. So thank you so much to every single person that submitted their guess, and still good luck to everyone. What this video is going to lead on to now is going to be a discussion on FOBTs and how I feel they have changed in recent times, the current climate of FOBTs, and basically things which I don't think a lot of you would have never heard of or understood when it comes to FOBTs. And that's all to do with how games have changed, new software that's been introduced, reduction in RTP, and how we have seen a progression from 1999 when FOBTs first came out, the background of them all, and how they have changed to the current day. All of that to come, which I asked if you guys wanted to hear. You said yes, so I do provide. So I hope you all enjoy that. The video itself will be split into timings, which I will mention in the next clip as well. But please feel free to have a look at them in the video description, and yeah, lo and behold, you will be able to see which bits you do want to watch and which bits you don't want to watch. But yeah, no slot video today, just a discussion, something a little bit different. So I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next clip. Right then guys, moving on to the next part of the video then, which is all about FOBTs and how I feel they have changed in recent times. Now I do feel that these games have changed, and I'm going to delve into the reasons why I feel they have, and probably open your eyes to certain elements about FOBTs which you've never heard of before. Now, to that end, this is going to be my opinion and my take on it, so please don't take it as gospel, even though there will be some factual parts at the beginning. You know, this is my take on it. But what I do feel like will happen is that the stuff that I'm talking about, especially later on in this video, will ring home to a lot of you guys, and I think it will become highly relatable. So I do think that you'll probably agree with some of the things I'm going to say. But what I do wish is that you interact, you know, say your experiences. Please just comment away how you feel they have changed or haven't changed, and if you agree or disagree with anything I do say, because I'd love to hear really your take on it. I did ask a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, whether you wanted to hear my take on it, and the response was yes. You know, a lot of people do want to hear it. So to that end, here is your video. No slot footage today, unfortunately, just a discussion about FOBTs and how I feel they have changed. Now, let's be honest, guys. Whether you have a planned or unplanned visit to a bookmaker's, a lot of you will just insert your money, choose a game, and play that game. You probably don't notice if any software changes have happened, new companies have come about, reduced RTP. There's lots and lots of little contributing factors which I do feel has changed FOBTs, but a lot of you would just literally, and I think it's fair to say, will just put your money in and play a certain game. So hopefully this will be able to explain some little changes you might have noticed as well. Also, this video was recorded about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't feel like the sound came out too well, so I've redone it. But in between then and now, I developed or caught COVID. I'm coming to the end of COVID now, but I might well start randomly coughing during the video, or my voice might sound a bit husky at times. So that is the reason. So apologies if it has to get paused and you notice that. Fingers crossed that I can just battle through this this video and all is good in the hood. Also, because there's going to be some factual bits at the beginning, there is going to be some timelines split down. So what that means is that the video will be split into specific sections. If you want to skip to any, then go to the video description. All of you, click the video description now, and yeah, you can see all the bits in there. I'll title them all up properly, so you can click the bits that you want to watch or skip to the bits that you want to get to and miss the bits that you don't want to watch. It'll all be listed in there. And please, like I said, comment away with your opinion. Okay, so beginning part of this video is going to be talk about a little bit of the background of FOBTs. It won't be too long, this part, and really the progression from then to now, and realistically how and when they have changed in recent times, the current climate. That's the end point of this video. However, for those that have never ever heard of a FOBT or know what a FOBT is, it's just an acronym or an abbreviation for fixed odds betting terminal. So to put it in a nutshell, they're fixed odds. So all that means is that when they want to pay, they'll pay, and when they don't, they don't. And I think it's fair to say that the problem gambler has predominantly arose in the UK due to these things. Yes, online has had a massive contribution as well. Advertisement as well on TVs haven't helped. Everyone having a smartphone hasn't helped either. However, FOBTs has been the root to a lot of problem gambling, especially things such as roulette, which was a massive, massive burden for a lot of people in the earlier years of FOBTs. However, they have been around for quite a while, but haven't been here forever as well. 1999 was the first development of the FOBT, and they were predominantly in places such as bookmakers. However, if people can rewind back, if you're old enough to remember, when bookies was smoke-filled rooms with lots of people gathered around TVs betting on horses and dogs, you can remember fruit machines being in there. Now, fruit machines was a big money earner for those who knew how to play them, but for the bookies themselves, not so much. They heavily relied on their income through horses and dogs and football betting. But the fruit machines did take money, and they were an enjoyable concept. I remember there being £25 bar crests, Red Gamings, Mazumas, QPSs, you name it, they had them in there. But they soon realised, as a big multi-million pound companies, that fruit machines wasn't really going to make them mega rich. So they soon introduced the £500 slottos. Can anybody remember Rainbow Riches and Elvis and Casino, or Casino, whatever it's called? Those £500 games, which were all the way back to like 2004 this is, and they were sitting in the betting terminals at £500. So much too, can anybody also remember when they all shared a cash pot which was progressive at the very top? And it didn't matter which game you played, Rainbow Riches or Elvis, if you triggered pots on reels 2, 3 and 4 of that 5 reel game, you could win one of those pots. Rolling back to all those years prior to FOBTs, you had those sort of things in the betting shops. And the only reason why they got rid of them was because, firstly, they got heavily robbed. If anybody can remember or did it, they could probably share more information than I could. But I'm pretty sure one of the vents on the side or the back, you could stick a little device through and create a spark and basically dump the machine or clock up credits, one of the two. But in a nutshell, I'm pretty sure it's dumping all the pound coins out of that machine. But in a nutshell, the bookies lost a lot of money, and they soon realised that we can't host these 500 machines. Now, about this sort of time, they needed to bring in something else, and this is when the FOBTs was introduced. Now, also at this time, the Gambling Act 2005 was legislation basically came in for it, and in a nutshell, a lot of things changed in the UK, from adverts on the TV to new laid down platforms of gambling categories, which we'll come to in a minute. All this sort of stuff came about, and FOBTs were mass released across all bookmakers. Corals and Labrooks hosted 4 FOBTs because that's the license agreement. You can't have no more than 4 FOBTs, and that has remained till this current day. And that is also a reason why you have seen multiple bookmakers along the same high street. Sometimes you might have the same bookies, like 2 corals next door to each other. I remember in Portsmouth, in Commercial Road, there was 2 corals next to each other for years. And that is because all they wanted to do was open up another platform to hold 4 FOBTs. Because they made so much money. But in a nutshell, FOBTs were in those venues, and as well, categories were created. Now, all the categories are, and I'll put them on the screen now, are just laid down license agreements of what can be held in different venues. For example, category C is in the pubs, and will be £100 jackpot machines, whereas B2s are in bookies, and B3s are in arcades and bingo. So it just lays down what machines they can hold and how many they can hold in certain venues, and that came about also in the earlier days. But all in a nutshell, FOBTs were generated and created and mass released around this sort of time. Now, it's fair to say that FOBTs have been the forthcoming of problem gambling in the UK, especially roulette, and that is what people jumped on. You could bet £100 on roulette in the earlier days, and then that was reduced to £50 unless you had a membership card. But I do feel like roulette got a lot of people hooked. FOBTs are designed in such a way that they take money when they want to and will pay when they want to pay. I remember having, I think, £9 on number 29, and it come in 6 spins in a row. Number 29, number 29, number 29. And all of you guys that have ever played FOBTs, I bet my bottom dollar, I guarantee, would have had a winning session. And probably when that winning session came about, you probably thought to yourself, wow, these are a source of income. These are amazing. I can win hundreds to thousands of pounds on these. And then sooner rather than later, you have your next session, and lo and behold, you get hit home straight in the face with the true reality of how they can actually pay. And that is no hit on your first spin. Second roulette spin of £100, no hit. Third spin, next minute you're 500 deep and you still not hit any number. And that is the sad truth about FOBTs. Now, throughout all of the years of me playing machines in pubs and arcades, I never really entertained the £500 FOBTs. Unless there was like an edge in there, I didn't really play them too much. But I had a little go here and there. And that is because as a gambler, you just see a game. That's the whole point of marketing and advertisement. It attracts you, doesn't it? Whether you're playing deal or no deals in the pubs and you've earned thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of deal or no deals in the pubs, as soon as a deal or no deal machine is released on the FOBT, you hold that relationship to that FOBT straight away, because you think in your head, oh, deal or no deals have been very good to me in the pubs. I've earned a tidy penny off them. I'm going to have a little go on that. So I have had a little flutter here and there, but lo and behold, I didn't really get subject to the problem gambling like some of you guys did. However, in recent times, rolling the ball onto now when I'm creating content for you guys to watch, I do play them quite a lot now. So times have changed, and because of that, I have noticed small changes. Now, in 2018, the £2 reduction occurred, which everyone can probably remember. And this was the first change in FOBTs, where £100 spin on roulette, or £50 if you didn't have a membership card, was soon a thing of the past. The 20, 30, 40, £50 mega buy spins that you can also buy soon disappeared, and they brought in a flat £2 reduction. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because this is the most important change that happened in FOBTs, because what you see on the terminals now is based around that change. Now, I just mentioned about mega buys disappearing. 20, 30, 40, £50 mega buys soon disappeared, which was basically the ability for you to purchase 5 spins for that set amount. And as you increased in value, you got more volatility, more chance of hitting big. But there was a lot of awareness at the time with problem gambling, and a lot of things went through government, and they said to themselves, to protect the punter, to protect the likes of yourself and me, we'll introduce the £2 reduction. But let's be frank and let's be honest. What came out of that £2 reduction is probably a bigger disaster than the mega buys, and that is ultra bag premium plays, or premium play itself, or fortune spins. Now, because of this and the way that gambling has gone, as well as the financial climate in the UK, all of those contributing factors had led to a more volatile world, a more volatile game. Premium bags can cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds for one set. You see that on the channel all the time, the red premium bag play, because I enjoy playing them. But they can be brutal. They can be absolutely crazily bad. If anyone can remember, and please comment below, when I played Action Bank that time, and I think it was £680 for one red premium set of bags. They're meant to average at 1 in 50 quid, so 1 in 25 spins. It cost me £680. That's nearly a jackpot and a quarter, and it actually paid hardly anything. Now, luckily in that session, I managed to claw my money back, and I have heard of people as well putting £1,200 in for one red set of ultra bags. Now, that is crazy talk. That is absolutely crazy talk. So how is it legal to even do that? Where does the legality sit with costing so much for one set of bags? Now, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, let's be honest, and it does happen quite frequently with large sums of money, £200, £300 for one set of red bags, and we have just become normalised to it. We think it's the norm. But why has this happened? That is the big question of why it has happened. But just quickly rewinding back very quickly, 2018 in May, that's when that occurred. And to that point now is the platform in which you see. On Equinoxes and Clarities, you will see premium play, and on Flexes and Wave Terminals, you will see fortune spins. So basically, Betfred and William Hill's one type, Ladbrokes and Coles the other time. That's the best way to describe it. Now, obviously, COVID then hit. And because of that, people weren't allowed to gamble. People weren't even allowed to leave their house. And also, the credit crunch and cost of living crisis came about. So what actually happened then in the bookies and in the arcades? Well, RTP started being reduced. In fact, on average, most games reduced by 1% RTP. Now, for those that don't know what RTP is, again, it's an acronym for return to player percentage. So it is a set percentage which legally has to be stated for the person who's playing it. This can be done on a pub machine next to the coin slot when you put money in, or on a digital screen of a £500 game. It will give you the average percent which is returned to the player over millions and millions of spins. Now, don't ever listen to those websites if you ever was to Google that and it says if you put £100 in and it's set at 72%, you will get £72 back. That's a load of bollocks, because again, there's lots of contributing factors. It's over or done over millions and millions of spins. Okay, what happens if I was to say the game was random, or if it was compensated? That RTP varies straight away in how it affects the return to player. So please don't listen to the online people. They don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. But anyway, 1% reduction in RTP was the first thing that we saw. Also, newly released games, newly created games now host a lower RTP. Now, why should we be punished as a punter, risking our money to play a game which has a lower return to player percentage? Well, it's just pure greed. It's just pure greed from these new creators, and we're becoming normalised to it. We're just agreeing with it, and we're becoming susceptible to it. And that is because still there's a lot of people that are problem gamblers, and they don't really care what they gamble because they just want to get their fix. However, for those that have been aware and understand this sort of concept, why should we be punished, or why should we accept the fact that RTP is being lowered? But all of this, in a nutshell, has only happened since COVID has come about. And I'd say in 2021 onwards is when we've really expected or started seeing the lower RTP games. But let's go into software. And this is really the first major change in how I feel FOBTs have played. Now, not only has RTP been reduced, like I said, the software on certain games have also changed. Now, this can be done for a number of reasons. Enjoyment for us guys. So, has anyone ever played old T7s or old terminals, which are really laggy, take ages to load up games, you hit start and the reels don't spin smoothly. Now, they can update the games and invest more money into better software for our enjoyment, but equally as well, they could do it for other reasons. And if you ever play an Equinox or a Clarity, and that's what I play predominantly on this channel, I'll actually put some pictures up now of them, you will see those sort of games which are frequently played on this channel. And originally it was a menu which had a thing called a Vertex menu. Now this is the older screen which hosted all of the games. You would have seen games such as Beetlejuice, Lord of the Rings, other games which have lost their license such as Michael Jackson. All those sort of games could still be on the Vertex menu. But it also hosted all the premium play games, and it hosted all of the older games prior to the new takeover. Now, those games had software which played originally. So what I mean by that is any game which I feel has changed in recent times played quite fairly, or at least fairly, on the Vertex menu. Now, I'm not taking away or discarding the fact that FOBTs are FOBTs, okay? When they want to take, they will. When they don't, they'll pay, okay? So that means that I'm not saying that Thai flour, for example, is a guaranteed source of income on a Vertex menu. But what I'm saying is that the gameplay and the probability of hitting features, in my opinion, was significantly higher on the old screen menu. Now, again, I might just be here talking a load of gibberish. These words might actually mean nothing to you. But what I'm saying is that the new screen that you see in Bookmakers and in arcades, which is called a Videobet screen, or the Videobet software, has, proof in the pudding, changed a few games. Now, there could be multiple games which I've not even noticed, because how would you know? But there are some guaranteed certain games which I feel have changed in recent times. Now, the reason why the software has changed from Vertex to Videobet is a couple of reasons, but predominantly over all of the years we have seen certain companies be the leading marketer or the leading producer in games. Now, Barcrest, for example, which everyone's heard of Barcrest, were massive and creating fruit machines in what we like to know the pub, arcade and bingo and bookie scene, okay, over all of the years. But in around about 2009, Barcrest actually moved away from the pub scene, if you want to call it, and they actually amalgamated with a company called Scientific Games, or SG. This meant that any of its sister companies, or Barcrest sister companies, such as Red Gaming, Extreme, I think Vivid was part of it, and there's a few others, all also disbanded, which was bad for the fruit machine player because those games were a thing of the past. But what actually happened after that was they amalgamated with a company called SG, and they started pushing out digital games. Now, that was the case all the way up to March 2022, okay? SG was then rebranded into a company called Light & Wonder. Now, I talk about Light & Wonder in the channel quite often because they are the leading producer in the UK for volatile games. Games which have spins worth hundreds of pounds and features that are difficult to get, which I'll come to all in a minute. But they also host a software called Videobet. So Vertex, the old menu, Videobet, the new menu. That is the difference between the two, and it's all to do with the company and the games that are on that software, okay? So let's just cut into very quickly the games which I think have changed since the Vertex menu, and the proof in the pudding into why they have changed. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and find some footage from previous videos, and I'll try and include it. If I can't, then you'll have to just take my word for it. So expect either a pause in the video now or me continuing. Right, first spin. Oh, I couldn't get the old play up in time. Times 1 or times 3 down there, isn't it? Times 3. times 1. Alright, that was the last autoplay as well. £10 rolled in. 8 spins. It's the lowest amount on there, but it is. What you can actually see is on Thai flour. This is proof in the pudding. There's no escape of this. On the original clip, on the original Vertex menu, you will see that the premium spin, which you can get with a £5 win and above, will start at a random point of that wheel. So much too that 2 places in front of where that started is where it's going to land. Now that could be quite unenjoyable for most people. However, it was the original program. And when that landed, it either paid a feature or the multiplier of that win. However, the new software always starts at 15 spins. So it always starts at 12 o'clock on that clock, on that wheel. And it will then end in a random place. So most people might be thinking here, well, who cares? Who actually cares where that wheel starts? Well, let me ask you, why has it been changed? Why change the software of that game in the first place? What is the actual reasoning of it changing? And what is the actual outcome for the player? Well, now my take on it and my opinion is that it's been changed for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but what the outcome is a much more tighter profile. Thai flour does not play like it used to play. It is so much more difficult now to get a feature, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds it could cost before you get your £5 spin. Now, I personally feel that if you're tightening up a game, what is the reasons for that? Is it the reduce in RTP, or is it a new software that's been introduced? Now, I've played Thai flour many times in recent times, and there are sessions in which it can't stop featuring. It's absolutely flying, it's absolutely off its tits, and I think to myself, wow, this is actually playing really good. But that's just a 1 in 10, 1 in 10 sort of session on that. 9 times out of 10, I found that it's costing you lots of money for a premium spin, and it's when you do get that premium spin, it's missing the features quite frequently. And I think without shadow of a doubt, that game has changed massively. So that's one game. The second game is Superstar Turns. Now, there are people that comment away on this video that say, no, you're just being unlucky with the gambles. You have been unlucky with how the machine is played. Well, when you have pulled a chair up to this game as many times as I have, and had sessions with other people on this game as much as I have, you will see the massive changes in which that game now hosts. And I'm talking about probability of features, or what feature pays, and the ability to roll in big wins on the base game, and also the frequency in which you get red bags, for example. Why did they change the music? Please comment below. Why did they change the music? I mean, I joke about it. Like I said, I've joked about it so much that it's actually going to get branded on merchandise that I'm going to be pushing out. But why? Seriously, why did they change the music? Now, some people, and I'll give a shout out to Chris, has messaged me and said, oh yeah, there's another game on there that has the same music. And there could be some legal reason for that. But I actually do think that the software has changed massively on that game as well. The other game, by the way, that hosts Superstar Turn music is Quick Hits, if people are wondering. So if you ever want to go and check that game out, it's featured in a few of my videos. Or if you ever happen to play it, then you'll notice when you get a feature, it is the original Superstar Turn music. But like I said, on the original Vertex menu, Superstar Turns has the original music. On Videobet, it is changed. So why did they change the music? Again, a game that has 100% changed. And I'm telling you the reasons why that game has changed is for the gamble. That gamble is originally played much fairer. You could gamble, or give you the opportunity to gamble for a red segment, and I'm telling you, it used to land a hell of a lot more than it does now. I get to the position now where I'm gambling for blue or red, and in the bottom of my heart, I'm expecting it to donk. I'm expecting it to lose. And that's all because new software updates, new software releases. Videobet has come about, and the introduction of these new games, and I truly do believe that that software has changed in that game.
Red. There you are.
10 spins. That'll do. Worst thing on there though.
Stop with Steph got down on 6, didn't he?
Need an upgrade. Ten spins. It's the highest amount done now. Just need a line all the way across.
Now, the third game, which I just want to pick up because there are a few, is Dragon Spin's Pick and Mix. That game has also been tweaked. It's for the same reasons as the one above. Probability of landing on features, the amount of time it teases now and doesn't drop in. It's all about hooking the player and getting the player to think that it's going to feature when it's not. Even when you get the £5 and above win on premium game, yeah, you got more chance of seeing Elvis walk through the door than it land on the feature. Again, my take on it, my opinion. There are many other games as well, which I'm not going to mention, which I do feel that have tweaked. However, those three are the main ones that scream out. Now, again, I reiterate why. Why have they changed? Well, since Light and Wonder have come about, they have been at the forefront of releasing volatile games. Volatile games means that games that have the ability to pay huge off small spins, but equally pay nothing. You have the chance of getting jackpot on Wild Outlaws of 10 spins. Okay? But on the majority, it's going to pay 20, it's going to pay 30 quid, it's going to pay 50 quid, whatever it might be. Now, the reason why this is important to note is because those spins are valued at a very high amount. Now, for example, Wild Outlaws, 10 spins is averaged around about 100 quid, whereas 12 spins is averaged around about 180. Legend of Midas, another game created by Light and Wonder, 10 spins is averaged around about 250 quid, give or take. That's a lot of money for 10 spins. But equally, if you get those 10 spins, it might only pay you 100 quid, which is like significantly less than what it's averaged. But on the flip of it, you could get a bonus and it pay jackpot. So why host a volatile game? Why introduce volatility as its main USP, its ultimate or unique selling point? Well, it's because it's targeting the problem gambler and the notion of a problem gambler. We as gamblers want to have big hits. We want to have that buzz, that dopamine hit. And I'm telling you now that Videobet have hit the nail, Light and Wonder have hit the nail on the head with their creation of their games. I love playing those games, but I can't help but sit here and think, for the average Joe, they must be absolutely having a real bad time, because so many times on these games have I expected more than what I've expected and it's not produced. Wild Outlaws getting 10 spins, which is quite difficult to get to that position in the first place, and then it pay 18 quid. And you think to yourself, do you know how difficult it was to get those spins? And you've just rewarded me with £18. It's absolutely crazy how things have come about. I did mention earlier about SG as well and how they have been a forefront. Does anybody remember Global Draw and Global Draw Roulette? All these key names as well. Barcrest, Scientific Gamings, WMS. Where do you see WMS? Well, you see them on Black Knight, don't you? In games such as them. All these companies have fingers dipped in their pies, but in recent times it's been Light and Wonder. Now, for who is Light and Wonder, you might ask? Well, they are a company which were created, and their main headquarters is in Las Vegas. They are global. Okay, they produce games and software globally, massively in Las Vegas, but they do have 2 hubs in the UK. I think one's in London and the other one's up north somewhere. But they have a foot through the door in the UK scene, and they are going to be the company which you see producing games in recent times and in the future as well. They only took over, or SG was rebranded into Light and Wonder in March 2022, and expect more games. Mate, let's just name some: Wild Outlaws, Legend of Midas, Black Knight Evolution. I don't think Secrets of Memnon is one. I think that's Barcrest still. Monster Catch, Attack from Mars. The list goes on. There's only going to be more. Rainbow Riches Free Spins, an old game which has been rebranded by Light and Wonder. So much too now that if you play premium, you can get up to 90 free spins, is it, or 70 free spins? All about volatility, all about creation of addiction to the problem gambler. So where can we actually go from here, guys? I mean, just be careful. Know that there's software here. What's the best way of identifying new software? Well, how does the screen look? If it's got those games on that I've just stated, then you know it's on the new Videobet software. If it's got the old terminal, with the latest game being Rainbow Riches Midnight Magic, you're on the old Vertex menu. Expect to play games that play worse on Light and Wonder Videobet terminals, but then on the flip coin of that, you know, you've got bigger chance of getting jackpot, so the volatility is there, but equally then you've also got a very, very high chance of losing a lot of money, because it can cost hundreds of pounds to get spins. Yeah, just be really, really careful. The final thing that I'm going to end this video on is awareness for gambling and how laws have changed, so things to expect with bookie venues and stuff like that. Now, I'll ask you this question: how many times does the yellow screen now appear warning you have overwhelmed your stay in such amount of your limits, can you afford to carry on gambling, or whatever that jargon is? Okay, it happens more often than it ever has. It's set at 20-minute intervals, but also set by actual cost limits. But even to that point, as soon as you spin off a number amount of credits, it will pop up again. It is annoying. I do get frustrated by it, especially the 30-second timeout screen. Why even bother? I mean, I know that they're trying to push out awareness for protecting problem gamblers, but is that yellow screen actually doing anything? Is it an effective tool? Is it really making you guys sit there and read it and go, I can't actually afford to gamble this? Let's be honest, because even if you couldn't as a problem gambler, you're still going to carry on gambling, because you triggered a screen, which means you're probably heavily involved anyway. It is an absolute pointless concept. I don't see the point in that. And equally as well, having the staff now come up to you asking you, can I afford to gamble? Can I continue to trying to indulge in your personal information, your full name, your job employment. You've triggered a £500 warning screen at the back of our tills. This is the reason why we're approaching you. You could easily just say to him, yes, I can afford to gamble. Leave me alone, please. I don't want to be subject to you and harassment or something along those lines. But equally, you can give those details. Where do those details go? I have no idea. I'm sure they'll go into some database, but it's probably trying to protect the mainstream bookmakers from some sort of fines or something like that. Because a lot of the time, they just cancel it. The staff just cancel those warning screens. They just write a little bit of narrative in there saying, same guy comes in, he doesn't give her his name, he wears a baseball cap and some Air Max trainers, always loses on average about £1,000 a session. No further comments. And again, that's it done. But there are a couple of things that you're going to be seeing more pushed into the high street bookmakers and arcades. They might come up to you, the staff, and say, do you want to take a break? Here is a bottle of water from the fridge. Go outside and give yourself 5 minutes before you carry on gambling. Now, a quick question to you guys. Do you think that that works? Do you think that's rude? Do you think that is something which they should adopt and they should push out? Does it create any harm? Yes or no? Please comment below. I mean, I think it's a bit undermining, and I also think it's a bit frustrating. But also I see why they do it, or the reasons why they appear to do it. Because I'm a massive advocate for problem gambling protection. Even though you probably don't see this in the slot videos too much nowadays, I do think it's really important to explain the risks and to not replicate them, especially what you see on this channel, because you should only gamble with what you can afford to lose. That is frank. But yeah, did those yellow screens annoy you, and did the staff asking you those questions, if you have experienced that, also piss you off? But that comes to the end of the video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Just please be careful. I reiterate that again, and try and keep it fun. That's the key, isn't it? Keep it fun. As soon as it doesn't become fun, then readdress your personal situation and try and put in measures in place to prevent you from making it fun, making it not fun and keeping it fun. But much love, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you do want to hear any more chit chats, then let us know, and I'll do my utmost to have the time to create the videos for you. And I really do hope that this video has enabled some sort of debate or interaction with you guys. So I'm hoping for lots of comments. If not, then no worries. But much love, guys, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video, which will be a normal slot video. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!